And then, we go straight back on the route.
Yeah, it kind of feels from the outside looking in, maybe the stars have aligned. This is the perfect moment for this fight to happen. Is that how you sort of see it as well?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say the stars have aligned for this fight. It makes no difference to me. I've got options. The world titles are all tied up in a minute, and everyone top 5, top 3, top 2's waiting. I'll have this fight, win this one, and then straight back for the world title shot. At the end, the world title is the goal. This is just for me, a legacy moment.
And that world title at welterweight as well.
Yeah, 100% a welterweight.
Less than 2 hours ago, it was officially announced that October the 8th on the DAZN pay-per-view in the UK and Ireland, it'll be the regular zone, the zone here in the States. You're going to have Chris Eubank Jr. It's the billing is Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, October the 8th. It's going to be at a catch weight of 156 pounds. That right there kind of pisses me off and frustrates me. Because when has Chris Eubank Jr. ever weighed in? In fact, let me go look it up. I have it right here, the box rec. What's going on, guys? How have you been? I haven't seen you guys last week. Basically, as you know, boxing been kind of slow, but the next several weeks it's going to be pretty busy. So I'm going to be here on Tuesday, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And also, I finally recorded some podcast episodes. So I'm going to be releasing 4 this weekend. 4 episodes this weekend of the Fight View 360 official. Here, you want to see? Before we go talk about this fight a little bit, I guess that's a good way to start off the video. But I'm also going to be here streaming during the main event of Teofimo Lopez and Pedro Campa. It is fight week for that with Xander Zayas. So look, we're ready. We're getting there. All right, guys, how do you like my intro? Here, listen to my intro to my podcast. This is just the first one. I'm sure it's going to be, I'm not going to say I'm sure it's going to be updated over time, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Welcome, and thank you for listening in to the Fight View 360 podcast. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Here it is this one. Boom. Welcome, and thank you for listening in to the Fight View 360 podcast hosted by myself, T-Street Controversy. The goal is simple. We're going to cover boxing. Everything you need here in one place, and I'm not going to be long-winded. We're going to cut straight through the fat. News, rumors, rankings, and the most dreaded of all, boxing politics and pay-per-views. But you must be warned, this show is for mature audiences, and I do cuss a lot, and there will be some rants on some of these episodes. Just know that we're not always going to agree. So, thanks for listening in. Enjoy the show. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I'm not really happy with that. But you got to keep it a certain length. We're going to have sponsors and all of that shit. But anyway, yeah, moving on. Let's go check out Chris Eubank Jr. though. So once again, it's going to be taking place on October the 8th in the O2. Eubank Jr. 32-2 with 23 KOs, 32 years old. He's got one of those Turkish hairlines. And I think he got a Turkish beard too. I think he got the whole shindig like Floyd did. But Floyd joint, it took a little while to take, but his hair job, I'm envious. His hair job looks nice. Remember when Jake Paul took his hat, it was a little fucked up. The textures wasn't right. It just was like a whole bunch of nut hairs like sticking up on his head. But now, like Floyd joint look cool. But anyway, we're looking at Chris Eubank Jr., who has fought as high as 168 pounds. He actually had a run at 168 in the World Boxing Super Series. But he is a natural 160 pounder, I guess you can say. But here's the thing. He's never weighed in below 60 pounds? He never weighed in below okay, you got back in 2014, 158 and a quarter. It's 8 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. Nearly 8 years ago. It'll be nearly 8 years by the time they step into the ring. And this is supposed to be at 156. I mean, listen, I like to fight. But that 156 catch weight, that's fucking with me. You see what I'm saying? So we don't know anything about the undercard. It's going to be the DAZN pay-per-view for you guys over in the UK. And how much are the pay-per-views now? I got my Joshua show notes here. So basically, you guys will be paying, if you have the DAZN, it'll only cost you £10, I'm guessing. And if you don't have the DAZN, it'll cost you £18 in the UK. But it's going to be pay-per-view, so you would think that, I don't know. But, you know, I just don't like it. I just don't like it at 156. Eubank began his career at 154. Where you see 154 at? I don't see 154 on here. We're on his box rec. He weighed in at his first fight in 2011 at 166 pounds. And I started covering him somewhere around, I'm going to say probably like 2014 is when I started covering him. You know, when he used to do all that bullshitting around in the ring. But Conor Benn, 21-0 with 14 KOs, 25 years old. He's a 147-pounder. So I'm guessing it's like, all right, it goes both ways. And Conor Benn started his career. Conor Benn even fought at 140. He weighed in, no correction. The lowest he fought somebody who was 138. The lowest he's weighed in at is looking like 144. And he's never, the most he's weighed in at, according to BoxRec, is 148.5. So, all right, gives, you know, it's just that, you know, I have more concern in situations like this. Oh, my, it's freaking out. I have more concerns for the fighter who has to drop more weight where, you know, they're not used to dropping weight. But nonetheless, I like the fight. You know, who am I going to pick to win against Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn? I'm still not really sold on Conor Benn. He's been looking good, though. But looking good against, you know, Chris Van Herden? Nah, bro, that don't wet my beak. That don't do it for me. Chris Algieri, Mr. Old tippity tapping around the ring. Chris Algieri was real long in the tooth. That don't really move the needle. Adrien Granados was really supposed to be the one that kind of moved the needle, I guess. But he looked like shit. He fought a very, very shitty fight. I was upset with him. Adrien Granados. Samuel Vargas, got him out of there, but Samuel Vargas was a journeyman. Sebastian Formella, you know, he looked better than Sean Porter did against Sebastian Formella. But basically, do these fights really like make you think like, yo, you know, like Conor Benn is going to be the motherfucking truth? I watch too much boxing. That shit is all smoke and mirrors to me. You see what I'm saying? But looking at Chris Eubank Jr. being the bigger fighter, arguably the better puncher, put it this way. If Conor Benn was to win, it would likely be by trying to outbox Chris Eubank Jr., you know, not really engage. Will there be some type of rehydration clause on the night? Because my gut, and because of the size and the experience, overall experience, Eubank Jr., I'm going to go with him for the win. Just look at the resume. Liam Williams, solid win. Not great, but let's go look at it. Matvey Korobov, I was really disappointed in that. Matvey Korobov had one of the worst years or 2-year stretches in probably as long as I've been covering boxing. Poor dude. Like, I was really looking forward to that fight. James DeGale, he put his ass in the dirt. His career, like, he ain't been back since. George Groves, now that was a very spirited, somewhat performance, but then again, George Groves had one arm, you know? So that right there, you know, Avner Yildirim, excuse me, I hate fucking Avner Yildirim. Arthur Abraham, that was a nice, solid twilight ending for Arthur Abraham. Damn, the Nick Blackwell, he damn near killed him. Glad he's okay. You know, when he tried to come back, like, bro, he was tripping. Gary Spike O'Sullivan, it was Lindy Laura just fought him. But what I'm saying is the experience, you dig? The experience. Dmitry Chudinov, Billy Joe. This was a big fight. Domestic level, Billy Joe went on to win a world title. So the gut is saying Conor Benn. It's going to be on October the 8th on the DAZN pay-per-view, the DAZN here in the States in the O2 Arena. They haven't announced anybody who's going to be on the undercard yet. We're probably going to get some fucking Campbell Hatton. I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be some Campbell Hatton on that joint. Maybe some Campbell Hatton and Opie Price. Let me see. Campbell Hatton, Opie Price. He probably going to bring over Eddie Hearn, one of his American fighters from the Matchroom USA. It's going to be a woman's fight. I can already see this card already. But yeah, I'm going to be going with Chris Eubank Jr. by decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if he stops. But either way, I'm just glad it's happening. It's one of those fights that if the UK could have made it, you know, and you know, if it was available for them to make, then they had to make it. You see what I'm saying? They had to make it. So, moving on. You know what I was thinking about when I was, I think it was last night when I got Dan Rayfield's newsletter for Fight Freaks Unite. I was paying $5.99 for that shit up until a month ago. I paused it because basically boxing was kind of slow. But I'm going to give Dan back his money again because he puts out some good content on there. And also, he's the best boxing schedule on the web. So he put out some news last night. And I'm going to read some of it to you. I got it last night at 12:50 a.m. I think I may have read it this morning. So I'm gonna I'm gonna read a little bit for you. And this is where all the news has been coming from. I had to stop. Now, normally I like to prowl and sneak in on my competitors' chats and watch their videos and shit. But everybody's been talking about Spence Crawford to feed themselves. You know, not because it's actually something going on or is any relevant news, but how do you do it to yourselves? How many Spence for the YouTubers, for the hardcore boxing fans on YouTube? Like, how do you watch all those Spence Crawford long ass streams all day, every day without no news, no nothing? How do you do it? I can't do it. I told y'all. Listen, y'all lucky if y'all get one Spence Crawford video from me a week. But since, you know, we're gearing up, you know, I'm going to start putting out some more Spence Crawford content. And I'm not going to that fight. I'm not putting no application in. I do not want to be involved. Like that environment is going to be, oh my God, Big J, can you please leave me to, Jesus, he be killing me. He always messages me while I'm on a stream. Like, I don't know what it is. But anyway, I'd be like, like, I'm not doing all those Spence Crawford videos all day, every day. I can't do it. It's not good for my health. But I did find this to be some, you know, credible news. A deal for a unification between 3-belt welterweight titleers Errol Spence and Terence Crawford for the undisputed champ. Okay, blah, blah, blah. They're looking at a date of November the 12th or November the 19th. I think that was pretty much, you know, what a lot of fans were thinking that it was going to be in November anyway. Looking like it's going to be in Vegas, but once again, I don't think that we, you know, had any, you know, a lot of fans thought it was going to be in Vegas anyway. And we know they've been trying to make a deal. Now, we don't know what the purse split is. And, you know, for people to hear that, oh, Terence Crawford wants too much money and all this type of shit, don't nobody know nothing. It's all speculation. Don't nobody know nothing about, like, the negotiations and none of that shit. Especially when it comes to the money, because Steven Espinoza, the head of Showtime, who's the one who's going to be footing the bill, you know, to put this event on. He's even said it multiple times, you know, I'm happy that the fighters are not talking in the media, you know, and that the negotiations are not being done in the media. But people, it's just all speculation. So, according to sources, PBC believes it is so close to finalizing the deal that it's already looking at possibilities for the undercard of what will likely be a Showtime pay-per-view event. It will be a Showtime pay-per-view. 79, wait a minute, what was Tank's pay-per-views? Is it $74.99 or $79.99 now? I think they're $79.99 now, right? My gut is telling me $74.99. Well, we know it's going to be on pay-per-view. And what I was thinking about, let me see if there's anything else relevant. Talking about Amantes Stanionis being on the undercard. He's the WBA mandatory, by the way, at 147. Cody Crowley being on the undercard. Boots Ennis should be on the undercard, in my personal opinion. Boots and Stanionis should be on the undercard if not fighting each other. What up, Donnell? But this is what I was talking about something several years ago when I was talking about how I felt that PBC was going to freeze Terence Crawford out to the point where he had no choice but to come to the other side if he wanted to get the fights that he wanted. Remember, about 4 or 5 years ago, it was longer than 4 years ago, about 5 years ago, remember when Top Rank launched the lawsuit against PBC? Had Al Heyman mugshot, and Golden Boy had Al Heyman mugshot all on the web and shit. Remember that? Well, one of the issues from my understanding, from what I remember, was because Al Heyman was trying to get a monopoly on the sport. And Bob Arum and other promoters were pissed that they needed to work with him for their fighters to get more exposure. It's like, listen, he has like all the top, whatever weight class guys, and he's not doing no business with us. And not only is he not doing no business with us, he's booking up all these arenas all across the country, and not even really using them, like he should. And he's got all these networks that we can't even, we stuck on HBO, but that's pretty much what the gist of it was. So it was settled out of court, just, like barely details that I remember of it. And PBC, Al Heyman had to start working with Bob Arum. Now, what we got was PBC sending over from PBC, a PBC fighter at the time, Felix Diaz, to fight Terence Crawford in Madison Square Garden. I was at that fight. In fact, I think that was my first ever Madison Square Garden fight as media. I was at that fight. Then they sent over John Molina, very long in the tooth, John Molina, to fight Terence Crawford. So this is my opinion. So basically, Al Heyman was like, all right, you tried to sue me, so I have to work with you. But I'm going to send you the fighters that I want to send over. I'm not going to send you my top guys. So you can't say that I'm not sending you nobody. So they would send guys like Felix Diaz, who was really good at the time, and guys like John Molina, so they couldn't say that he wasn't working with him. But I guess, not to be long-winded, my theory is that PBC was freezing Terence Crawford out. And from a business standpoint, I'm looking at it from all sides. I can't blame them. It's like, why should we work with you? When we got our own guys, they can fight each other. We only work with you when we have to, for a fight like Wilder versus Fury. Now, this is me being impartial and me being unbiased and like, look, that's business. You see what I'm saying? But I do feel that you can't tell me that Al Heyman probably in his mind, or maybe even talking to his guys like Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Danny Garcia, like, look, you saying like, champ, don't worry about none of that right now. He ain't got nothing over there. Eventually, he gonna need us. You gonna be the A side over him. That's Al Heyman doing what he's got to do for his clients, right? Doesn't that make sense? So this is what I really believe happened. I really believe that he was frozen out. And then Errol Spence, he had the perfect plan. And PBC and Al Heyman had the perfect plan. Well, look at all these guys we can fight in. Some of them got belts. So let's collect these belts. And he can't say you ducking him because you're fighting good name fighters, that you can sell on pay-per-view. It was Molina they sent first. I thought it was, it was Molina they sent first, right? I thought it was Felix Diaz first. But either way, I remember all of that. And I'm thinking like, Al Heyman ain't slick. I know what he's doing because he can't say you wasn't working with us. But I guess, what I'm saying is, do you think that Bob Arum could have done more? You can't force a promoter to make his fighters fight you. Bob Arum was even, going out at the end of Terence Crawford fights, calling out Al Heyman, which is the worst thing you can ever do. when it comes to Al Heyman. You know, I'm not a fan of promoters, you know, disparaging, you know, other promoters or broadcasters. Like, for example, the thing with Leonard Ellerby and Eddie Hearn. It's like, yo, y'all need to leave that shit alone. Like, get some motherfucking fights done. But I'm not ready to blame Bob on this. You know, and you can think like, yo, you know, they Top Rank don't know how to promote black fighters and everything, but that's not really the case. I mean, people feel that way, but I don't agree. Top Rank has a very, in the foundation, in boxing, reputation for building up fighters. They may not be able to keep their fighters when they become stars, but they build up their fighters. That's why you see a lot of young fighters, they choose them to be developed. And then once they get, you know, and that's all, you know, even all the way down to Oscar De La Hoya. And back during that time, once they get to a certain level, they be like, oh shit, we can start doing better on our own. We out of here. You see what I'm saying? But I just feel like Top Rank was getting a lot of blame. And especially when you have a guy like Crawford, let's be honest. You know, everybody don't have to be a talker in the sport, but he's not the most charismatic dude. He's not a guy that transcends the sport. He posted something on the social media the other day about how people approaching him in the street, wanting to take pictures with him, not even knowing his name, calling him Tyrone James and shit like that. Here, I'll show you. I don't want to believe that we're going to get Spence versus Thurman, you know, but I do believe that Spence is positioned I do believe that Thurman is positioned there just in case it falls out. But Errol Spence ain't dumb. Terence Crawford ain't dumb. Steven Espinoza and Al Heyman ain't dumb. They know that this fight's got to happen. Yeah, that's the same way I feel Shakur and Devin. If they're not able to turn Shakur into a young, but then again, Shakur a Jay Prince fighter, and they have a very strong relationship with Top Rank. And the rumors, sources, I guess you can say. I hate using that word. But that if Andre Ward didn't have his injury issues or whatever's going on, that he would have ended up a Top Rank fighter after Kovalev. I don't know if you guys heard that. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is both of these guys, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, they're not the most charismatic dudes, you know. But don't get me wrong. We've seen, you know, Spence be able to work the mic. Like, for example, he was laying into Sean Porter something fierce. You know, like in the post-fight, in the build-up and the post-fight press conference, you know, I was like, oh, shit, a man with no land, huh? You know? But yeah, look, he posted this. What the fuck? This is the second person that asked me for a pick and called me Tyrone James. In two completely different states. This Tyrone James guy must be a bad man.
I can't make this shit up. Tyrone James, the world champ.
And that's not a good thing. I'm not saying, you know, it's Terence Crawford's fault. You know, fighters are fighters, you know, but in this day and age, you got to be an entertainer. And I do feel, here's the thing. I hate talking about A-side, B-sides and all that shit, but Errol Spence is the A-side. He's got the belts. No matter how it was done, no matter if it was an intentional freeze out, Al Heyman did what he had to do for his client. Now, as far as money's concerned, I do feel it should be a 50-50 split. Hey, I want the motherfucking fight to excuse. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. Because both of these fighters need each other. I mean, maybe when it comes to pay-per-view percentages and all that kind of bullshit, you know, maybe Spence should get more. But listen, I don't like talking about money. I don't like talking about none of that shit. But I will say this. It's a 50-50 fight for me again. I said that I needed to see how he looked against your Dennis Ugas for me to really be like, yo, this dude is special. Like, Errol Spence is special. I'm not talking about, like, there's good fighters, great fighters, and then there's, like, special fighters. Errol Spence and both Terence Crawford are special fighters. You know, what Terence Crawford's able to do from switching from orthodox to southpaw, you know, the way he's able to figure you out, the way when it's time for him to turn up the heat, he turns up the fucking heat. Like, dude is good. T-Street, I don't care what they say about you. You all right? What did they say about me? I've been chilling for like a while now. Like, I don't get involved in all of that toxic social media and YouTube behaviors that I used to engage in before. I'm almost a 40-year-old man next year. I'm dignified now. I'm housebroken. But I'm hoping to get the fight done. I'm hoping to get the fight done sooner than later. And I'm guessing they're probably going to have a press tour of some sorts, right? Maybe New York, LA, if it's going to be in Vegas. I would hit up the New York press conference. I would do that though. But as far as going to the fight, I don't want to be around them animals. You know how the motherfuckers going to be acting. All the YouTubers are going to be there and shit, acting motherfucking food, sucking Errol Spence's cock. No way. I don't want to see that. Like, how they done gravitated toward him. No, here I am talking about I'm not going to get involved in the shit and I'm running my mouth. So anyway, what's going on with you guys? What's the next topic? Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz got a win over Michael McKinson. Let's talk about him a little bit since we're here. Let's talk about my man Virgil Ortiz. Let me pull up his resume. Let's be honest. Like, I never really did like a full in-depth like chat video on Virgil Ortiz and how I feel about him as a fighter. Here, let me pull up his box rec here. Let's get Conor Benn out of here. Yeah, Conor Benn, you gotta go. Let's get that out of here. All right. But yeah, I mean, I like him, but I'm just not, I don't know if I'm sold. And when I'm sold on a fighter, I don't really feel it in my gut. I'm not like when I see him, and how I was just talking about with Spence Crawford, like, yo, they some special fighters. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. Is that a crime? I'm still on the fence. That's my right. 19-0 with 19 KOs, 24 years old. That is impressive, though. That body shot he hit McKinson with, that last one, it was almost like a love tap, and he went down. Dude got the power. I mean, look. Samuel and Roscoe, Brad Solomon, Sam Vargas, Maurice Hooker, Kavalauskas, McKinson. But McKinson was fighting like a dickhead in there too. I'm thinking like, yo, bro, you better start. What is, if there's one punch you think he should constantly use just by looking at his box rec, one punch that you think he should base his whole fucking career around just by looking at his box rec, what is it? The damn jab. If you got just 2 KOs, I'm expecting for you to be twinkle toes out there. I'm expecting for you to be a fucking ballet dancer. I'm expecting for you to be dancing the night away. That's the fight I expected. But big balls on him. He tried to engage the first few rounds of the fight. Then he started backing his ass off. But by that time, it was too late. 9th round stoppage. Down on the ground, fucking rolling around. No, he wasn't rolling around. He just was like, shit. Shit. Let me see if I can get you a highlight. This was a fight that was supposed to happen earlier in the year, but Virgil Ortiz was having weight issues, and to the point where, he had to be hospitalized, from my understanding. So the fight was postponed. By the way, shout out to Blair the Flair Cobbs beating Maurice Hooker. Tell me right now, was Blair Cobbs beating Hooker an upset? Press 1 in the chat, 2 for no. Because I thought that Maurice Hooker was going to win. I didn't think that Blair Cobbs was going to be able to get that. Or GT Jr. McKinson. I think it was an upset. I was like, oh shit, you go, motherfucking Blair Cobbs. Philly, stand up. Let me see if I can show you this. Like, the body shot was just a tap. It was a love tap.
To be moving and pivoting.
Like, it wasn't even that hard.
He always has to be moving and pivoting.
Nah, then again, that shit did sound like it hurt. Oh, this is when he got up. I'm looking for the second one. But yeah, he was down there fucked up. Look, ass all up in the air.
Finally does the trick as McKinson's down for the first time as a pro. It was a body shot that hurt.
I'm looking for the second one. All right, we got some mixed reviews, but Blair always looked vulnerable. And Maurice Hooker, he just looked done, bro. Like, what was up with him? Here we are. Oh, here it is. Here's the clip of Virgil Ortiz stopping McKinson. And it was just like a little bit of a tap. Like that That right side was real tender. Oh, and his leg was fucked up too. But I'm just saying, listen, you know, for Blair Cobbs to beat Maurice Hooker, to me, you know, that's a significant win. You know, he's a former world champion. But I don't like how Maurice Hooker, I know he got all them kids, but he come across as like undisciplined. Like, bro, like, come on, man. How many times you're not going to make weight? Like, get that shit together. Get that shit together. But, you know, what really hurts me about this whole situation is I don't think, you know, with the politics, just look at what's going on with Spence versus Crawford. Virgil Ortiz being Mexican and Boots, you know, being the black fighter, historically, those guys should be meeting up. That can be a really, really big fight. But how long are they going to wait to make it? Is it going to be one of those things? What's it likely will in this landscape, especially since they're with two different promoters, two different broadcasters? It's going to be like, nah, it needs to marinate more. Remember years ago that if it was two top 147 pounders or two top fighters in any division on their way to a world title shot, they will fight each other first. The UK still does that, like where they have like those big domestic clashes, as they call them. But, you know, like Boots and Virgil Ortiz should be fighting for who's going to be the man among the 147 pounders after Spence versus Crawford. And that's probably going to be a 2-fight deal. But the shit is frustrating, you know, because when I try to look at a potential fight with Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, both of them, by the way, let's go look at the rankings. Both of them, by the way, ranked very highly by all of the sanctioning bodies. For example, look at this. Look at this shit right here. You got Virgil Ortiz, #1 by the WBC, #1 by the WBA, even though Stanionis is the mandatory. Boots, IBF, #1, but Virgil Ortiz, #3, and #2 they usually keep vacant. And somebody, can somebody help me with this? Is Boots Ennis currently right now the IBF mandatory? Was the Clayton fight a final eliminator? Is he officially the IBF mandatory? Because from my understanding, isn't Virgil currently the WBO mandatory? But when you look at where they are, it's like, oh, okay, so you motherfuckers are not going to fight each other, huh? I don't see it. And then you got Keith Thurman, who we've been hearing all these rumors about how PBC is trying to, feed Thurman to Boots Ennis, and Thurman like, no, I ain't going to be no gatekeeper for these young pups. But I do feel like, damn, man, like we can't even, you know, like get what we want anymore. Like there's no reason why we should have to wait fucking 5 years. Because think about it. What, it's going to be probably like 4 years before we see maybe Virgil Ortiz take on Boots Ennis. Like, look at the history. Look at the history. We can't even get them to do Jamal Charlo versus Jaime Munguia. Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. That's pretty much dead again. Clayton was a final eliminator because he is ranked #1, and normally the IBF won't rank you #1 unless you are the mandatory. But yet they won't fight each other. It don't make sense. If this don't expose it, how fucked up boxing is, then nothing will. And how the rankings don't mean shit, nothing will. And none of these sanctioning bodies has the balls to be like, oh, no, you are not going to get no shot at nobody until you fight each other. But as far as the pecking order is concerned, I believe it's Stanionis that has to get his shot at the winner of Spence Crawford first, right? Or is it Virgil Ortiz? I mean, the WBO. Who's first in line? Okay, this is the way it looks to me. WBO mandatory first, WBA mandatory second, IBF mandatory third, and nobody's officially the WBC mandatory yet. Stanionis is supposed to be getting a shot. Remember, Stanionis took step aside and fought Jamal James. That was tough. I like that he did that. But let's face it, the winner of Spence Crawford, maybe even both of them, they're going to move to 154. Both of them, they're going to move to 154, probably at the same time. No, but look at this, though. Austin Trout back, baby. Look at him. Where he at? Number 5 by the IBF. Austin Trout is back. Don't sleep on Austin Trout. But yeah, realistically, though, who are we going to see Virgil Ortiz fight next? And who are we going to see Boots fight next? Realistically, let's focus on Virgil Ortiz, fights that can be made politically. Politically. Evernessian, he don't want to fucking do nothing. Abel Ramos, maybe. Butayev is PBC. Rashidi Ellis is now PBC. Barrios is PBC. Abel Ramos maybe still PBC. Best Putin is possible. Kavalaskis, he already beat him. Crawley is PBC. Yordenis Uga still healing up. Got his face broken. He's PBC. Conor Benn's fighting Eubank Jr. He's Matchroom. Keith Thurman don't want to fight either Virgil Ortiz or Boots. Is it going to be this man? Y'all know who this man is? Thulani Bang Myang. Is that B supposed to be silent? Y'all know this man? You know this cat from South Africa? 19-1 with 15 KOs. Who is this dude? You think they're going to call him up? Kind of like a Walter Cat Contentwandu? The dude that Demetrius Andre fought. And you know what? I knew how to pronounce his name. And I thought I was confident right there saying it. And I forgot. I said Walter Cat. Damn. I forgot how to say it. He fought Dirty Diego Chavez. I met Dirty Diego Chavez in New York. He gave me this funny look. He had this big ass coat on, like the dude from Resident Evil 4. Like he had this long ass like coat. Like he had all these wares under there, like all these like these spoons and shit, like in watches. And I was looking at him like, yo, bro, you look like a thief. You look like a street merchant that stole all your shit. But anyway, Virgil versus Rocha. Oh no, Virgil Ortiz versus Blair Cobbs. You like that shit? Y'all like Virgil Ortiz versus Blair Cobbs? They're going to give it to you. Come on. Both in the same weight class. He coming off of a win. It's going to be Virgil Ortiz versus Blair Cobbs. I see it. I smell it. You don't smell it? Virgil Ortiz versus Blair Cobbs. They're going to feed Blair to him. Perfect in-house fight. It'll have a little bit of buzz behind it, I guess. That makes perfect sense to me. It makes sense. It makes sense. In-house, he's at 147. You know what? And don't be surprised if he gets ranked next month. Let's see, is Maurice Hooker ranked anywhere? Nope. Don't be surprised. They're going to find a spot for him. If Blair Cobbs pop up in any of these rankings next month, you already know what it is. You know what they're going to do. They're going to do it. Virgil Ortiz versus Saddam Ali. Bro, you're a low-down degenerate. Ortiz versus Alexis Rocha. Okay. But they can save that. They can do Cobbs, then do Rocha. I don't think they're going to be aggressive with that matchmaking, though. We're going to have to see. There he is. It's possible. He beat the shit out of Blair Cobbs. I just put my promoter hat on is all. But yeah, wonder if he'll get another fight before the end of the year. Maybe December. Probably will he be back in January? Boots Ennis said on the Danny Garcia, Jose Benavidez broadcast, he was commentating during the prelims on YouTube that he's got a date coming up soon. But I really believe that, you know, they should put him on the Spence Crawford undercard. Him and Stanley Jonas, if they're not going to fight each other, I do believe they should be on the undercard. And of course, they're probably going to be matched against some Hispanics. Got to have some Hispanics on there, or they're going to have a Hispanic on the card. And what Hispanic is not fighting right now, they can throw in that joint. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, man, we're going to be here this weekend. I've been really disturbed about this news, and I wanted to believe that it was a joke, but it ain't no joke. You got Tyson Fury, our WBC champion of the world, who is one of my favorite fighters, by the way. I was covering him on YouTube since about 2012. He was the first fighter that I learned how to do illegal streams for. You hear me? He was the first fighter that I used to bootleg those Box Nation shows. When he was on NBC, I watched that shit. And I was like, yo, this dude's going to be a fucking world champion one day. And I started lobbying for Tyson Fury. I was saying years and years ago that he would beat Vladimir Klitschko. I have the videos. I was saying years and years ago that, yo, he will take Deontay Wilder to school. I said years and years ago that, well, they didn't end up fighting, that he would beat David Haye, that this dude was special. Tyson Fury is a special fighter. But when I see shit like this, you know, I just think like, bro, this dude is a monster. Look at this shit.
Shite, mate. Phone mommy and daddy. Tyson, stop talking shite, mate. Phone mommy and daddy. Mommy's Frank Warren. Daddy is fucking Bob Aaron. Tell them you want to hang out with me, okay? And send me the paperwork, bitch.
No! 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 No!
Decided to come back to boxing. Why have you chosen that?
Here, I'm gonna let this play through because, listen, everyone knows I am a degenerate boxing fan. People close to me know that my life revolves around like this boxing shit. Women, they know like when his boxing on, don't even mess with him. He don't want no pussy. Don't even try to offer to him. He gonna turn it down. But shit like this, like I get bothered. I'm untethered. That's it. Look. Barely an hour into the stream and I am untethered. I'm gonna let you hear this shit. I do not want to see, and the people, you should not want to see no Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora 3. Did you see how the last fight went? I covered that shit on YouTube. Look at this shit. Look at this shit.
Isaac Lowe to be your coach.
Well, Andy, I've decided to come back to boxing because I can be the first heavyweight champion in history to have two trilogies, one with Deontay Wilder and the second one with Derek Chisora. I always said I'd fight Derek Chisora at the end of my career, and here we are, breaking all records again, setting precedents. And why I've chosen Isaac Lowe as my trainer is because when I was with Peter, Isaac was there. When I was with Benn, Isaac's always been there. And when I was with Sugar Hill, Isaac's always been there. He's always given me information. He knows me better than anybody on the planet. We're a great team. We've always been together, and we're going to finish this out together. We've always worked very well together, and here we are, about to take on a massive, massive, massive event. Isaac?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a new challenge for me, and I think, listen, I've been with you all your career, and I think I can put something new together, so looking forward to it, and it's a tough task, but something to look forward to go forward.
Boom.
It's cooking. It's not a joke. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. This is me 7 years ago. Look at T Street, so young, full of life. This was me. Look at my post-fight video. Left-handed Fury beats Chisora so bad, fans boo. Fans boo. Fury versus Chisora post-fight results, November 29th, 2014. And this was a live, uncut video. I didn't have all this fancy, smanchy digital shit. But let's go back. Look, let's go back down memory lane. 7 years ago. Take your time out. Like the video, subscribe.
Like in the end, it turned out to be quite comfortable for you. What was the secret tonight?
You know, first of all, I'd like to dedicate this fight to my Uncle Louis, who can't be here tonight, you know. Second of all, Peter, my Uncle Peter. What have you got to say about it?
Listen, you know, I'm very proud of him. You know, he stuck to instruction. It's not about loading up. This was a very important fight to get the W. You know, he's using his brains now. He's boxing. He clearly had a lot more tools than Derek. He used them, and you know, to do this in memory of my brother, sensational.
And what a performance to do that as well. And what sort of statement, given this was an eliminator for Klitschko's title, what sort of statement do you think you sent out there tonight? You boxed southpaw for periods.
Who, another heavyweight on the world, can box southpaw against a world-class fighter like Derek, who I believe can give any other heavyweight out there a hard run for his money. And to be honest, I never really took many blows. I'm very proud of my performance. I dedicate it to my Uncle Louis. My Uncle Peter got me there, along with all the spire and all the boys in the gym. Big shout out to my dad, who I know is watching, he's probably crying by now. He's coming home to Manchester, la la la.
Let's bring Mick Hennessy in. Mick, come in, because...
I'm going to leave it. Listen. Derek Chisora, I don't know if Tyson Fury was right, where Derek Chisora would give a lot of these heavyweights a run for his money. I just don't know anymore. When it comes to real competition, he has been defeated. When it comes to Malik Scott, he was almost defeated. When it comes to well, he should have been defeated. When it comes to Robert Helenius, you know, that was a split decision. Vitaly Klitschko beat him down. David Haye knocked him out. You know, and I asked myself, I say, well, wait a minute, when is this going to end? You got Tyson Fury, a right-handed fighter who barely threw any power punches, and he was toying with Derek Chisora. By the way, November the 29th, 2014, T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. What time is it over there? This was a late card. My God. Eubank Jr. and Billy Joe Saunders was tonight because people were booing. I kept hearing people from the crowd like, "You're shite! You're shit!" screaming at Tyson Fury during the post-fight. It was crazy. But if you don't know, on T-Street Controversy, this is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live, whether it's UK, United States, wherever. So Tyson Fury has knocked out, stopped Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora only stopped twice in his career. First time by David Haye. Now, it just was pity. He beat his face to shit. He beat him, like literally, he beat him so bad, and he beat him left-handed. You got a 6'9", 260-pound heavyweight that just beat a heavyweight that had a world title shot left-handed. And he just kept jabbing to the point where the ref was like, the ref had to intervene and literally, the ref intervened and tried to show Tyson Fury how to throw a jab, because Tyson Fury just kept, you know, like doing that. He would go pat, 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 pat. So the ref was like, yo, no, you know, not that, all that type stuff. Man, 6'9", and he fought left-handed and only basically jabbed. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was me years back, but nothing's changed. That was 7 years ago. I mean, credit to Derek Chisora for still being around, I guess. But it is no reason why they should be doing this shit again. Now I understand Derek Chisora, you know, fans love him. You know, and the fight's going to sell in the UK as far as tickets. But I don't think that this fight's going to do well, you know, because they're going to try to pay-per-view it over there, and they better not. It's probably going to be regular ESPN over here, because they had some real big balls, some real big balls doing Tyson Fury versus Dylan White on pay-per-view. But I'm sorry, you know, I'm not with it. I'm not with a Tyson Fury versus the Derek Chisora fight, you know, because it's like, bro, you can fight anyone in the top 15. You can fight fucking Otto Wallin again, you know, but this is just a money grab. And basically, Tyson Fury's starting to look real Hollywood right now. Like, he just wants to get paid and really not fight no competition. And if I'm being really, really, really honest, the Deontay Wilder were big fights. But I'm a guy who always thought that Tyson Fury could beat Deontay Wilder. So the Deontay Wilder wins don't look that good to me. Don't get me wrong, they are good. But what I'm saying, to me, though, I always thought that Tyson would beat him. So therefore, I'm like, bro, okay, you beat Klitschko. Okay. Pretty much went life and death with Al Walim, the eye thing. And then you beat Deontay Wilder. And now, yes, you made all of this money. But then you think you can be like, yo, I can just fight anybody and sell? Like, come on, man. Like, no. But let me tell you something else, though. We got one more topic to talk about, too, actually. What do you think about the possibility of Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua 2 being here in the States on pay-per-view? I think that they're going to do it. Let me show you something here. I think they're going to do it. It's going to be on Sky Sports box offers over in the UK. Here, I actually got notes here from my podcast. So here's what we know about Usyk Joshua 2 so far. Sky Sports box office is going to be about $33 over there. 27 pounds, but $33 in dollars. Saudi Arabia in Jeddah. A new story came out that they're going to be splitting $123 million. Now, a couple of months ago, they were saying it was going to be $80 million they were going to be splitting. $80+ million they were going to be splitting. Joshua signed a deal with the DAZN. Officially, a press release was released by the DAZN June the 13th. But yet, Sky has the rights to broadcast the fight on box office pay-per-view July the 27th. So what if Joshua loses to Usyk? Does he still get his DAZN deal? They had press conferences on June the 21st and June the 29th. The first was in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has this new initiative going where basically they're trying to turn Saudi Arabia into a tourist attraction. And also they're trying to get, other sports to be hosted there. I can't blame Eddie Hearn. I can't blame the fighters for getting that Arab money. We've been hearing about this elusive, seductive Arab money since fucking Amir Khan kept talking about it, but he never got it. But now look, fighters have been getting it. And remember that Ruiz Joshua 2 fight, that was a really, really good, event. Like a really, really good event. From the entrances, a lot of people were wondering if they were going to be able to build that arena, that outside desert arena, but they did it. They got it done. But somebody discovered this the other day. Let me see if I can find it. It's a Twitter page called Everything Boxing. And he was watching the broadcast last week of the Dalton Smith, forgot the guy he was fighting. And he covered, he caught something on their broadcast. Let me show you what he caught. Where's it at? This. You see it? You see it? That's the DAZN pay-per-view logo. Remember, it's Sky Sports over in the UK. Who's this DAZN pay-per-view logo for? And I have the DAZN. When I go sign into the DAZN, now we already know that the fight's going to be on the DAZN here in the States. But when I go sign into the DAZN, and I got my account back last week, I renewed my subscription. By the way, they're going up to $150 for their annual fee. $150. It comes to a little bit over $21 a month if you pay non-annually. To get Canelo versus Golovkin, It's going to be what, $84.99 if you don't have $84.99 if you don't have the zone. But when I go look at their schedule, nothing's listed on the 20th. I think that they're going to announce this shit's going to be pay-per-view here. Remember, nothing's out of the realm now for us US pay-per-view subscribers, because guess what? We started off the year January the 1st, even though it was at what they say a reduced price, still we had to pay for it. Ruiz Ortiz versus Charles Martin on New Year's Day. That's just them smacking us with their dick, like pap. Like, you know, on New Year's Day, they charged us for a pay-per-view. Then a fight that would have been on regular PBC on Fox or regular Showtime the very next month, on February the 5th, we got Keith Thurman versus Mario fucking Barrios on pay-per-view. Then in April, we got Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. Once they did that, ESPN did it too. Once they did that, I said, you know what? We're finished. They're going to be giving us anything on pay-per-view now. We got Tank Davis versus Rolly Romero on pay-per-view. Outrageous. So before, it was like an unwritten rule that you don't do UK fights midday pay-per-views. You don't do midday pay-per-views. You don't do midday pay-per-views here in the States. And I'm interested, if they do pay-per-view, are they going to charge, for example, if you have the DAZN and you buy Canelo versus Golovkin, it's going to be like, what, $64.99. But if you don't have the DAZN, it's going to be $84.99. Crazy. The KSI fight, that's only $10 if you have the DAZN. It's like, all right, whatever. You know, but they're outrageous with these pay-per-views. They're going to the well. Like, they're going way too far with this shit. But we do have to talk about Teofimo Lopez, though, to close out the video. His card is coming up this weekend. He is returning against a fighter called Pedro Campa. Teofimo's been having some issues going on, some family law issues. Remember at his post-fight interview for his last fight, he's saying, you know, he didn't see his daughter in a while. There was rumors that he was going through a divorce and all of that shit. And it's just like, man, a lot going on, you know. And then he was, you know, from a business standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and say he was a bit disrespectful to Top Rank. Basically holding out for a purse bid for that Kambosos fight. And now he has to go back to Top Rank fighting Pedro Campa. This Pedro Campa guy, let me go look at it real quick. By the way, I'm going to guess it's going to be a 6 p.m. Eastern card. It's going to start on ESPN Plus, as they always do. And then the broadcast is probably going to start around like 10 p.m. on regular ESPN. Here, let me go to the Top Rank YouTube page. I'm sure they have a promo up already for it. You're going to have guys like Xander Zayas. I want to call him the Duke, but what is it, Duke Reagan on the card? Hold on, let me go to the Top Rank YouTube page. Get you all the particulars. I watched Nope this weekend. What do you guys think about that? I had to watch like the YouTube explained videos. I mean, I got most of it, but I was like, all right. But I think it's the worst of the three Jordan Peele movies. I think that Get Out #1, Us #2, and Nope #3. So let's see. Let's go watch the Top Rank official trailer on the fight.
The takeover.
Let's go see. Hopefully they don't make me edit this out. It's only a trailer. Top Rank
Is trying to take back. Teofimo Lopez will return to the ring.
This kid's gonna come back with vengeance on his mind, no doubt about it. They're coming for him because they see blood in the water, and I want to see Team Lopez's response to what they're dealing with.
We took over 135, and now we're on our way to take over 140. Let's get it, baby.
Take over.
The takeover is back, trying to take back what was his.
140, they're gonna have a real player in the hand. If he's at 100% physically and mentally, he can take over.
What a big shot by Lopez. And there it is. He has done it. How do you like that? Teofimo Lopez, showstopper.
His body good, drill obscure, big bad mood. Yeah, been that dude. Yeah, this a takeover, protect what's yours.
Wow, what a knockdown! Contender or beyond.
Big bad move. Yeah, been that dude. It's a takeover.
I guess I'll be, when I go to bed, watching some Pedro Campa tape. I'm surprised I haven't done anything already, but here he is. This guy, Teofimo Lopez, is going to be fighting Pedro Campa, 34-1-1 with 23 KOs. You know, sometimes these Mexicans show up, you know, like a bat out of hell. But looking at his resume, he fought an undefeated fighter who was 22-0. When I see something like this, I say, let me go see who you were 22-0 against. Something fishy here. Oh, I mean, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, I don't know. Teofimo may be vulnerable, bro. I don't know. But he should beat this guy. He's been stopped before. He should beat him. He was stopped by Carlos Jimenez back in 2017. Oh, this guy's 14-10-1. So basically, this is a return to top rank fight. You know, a little bit of, I'm guessing, a light touch for him. Yeah, Teo still has his father in his corner. Teofimo Lopez, 16-1 with 12 KOs, 25 years old. Lost to George Kambosos via split decision. I still can't believe he lost to Kambosos. Kambosos is going to be fighting Devin Haney sometime in October. No official date yet in their rematch over in Australia. Biggest win of his career, obviously, over Lomachenko, Richard Comey, Masayoshi Nakatani, Edith Tatley. Looking at the 140-pound division, though, here is where I was confused when I covered Arnold Barboza's fight. Liam Paro is supposed to be fighting Brock Jarvis. Me and Big J got a video we're going to be doing on that. But Liam Paro is supposed to be fighting Brock Jarvis sometime in September or this fall on the zone in Australia and over here in the States. But will the winner of Liam Paro, Brock Jarvis, especially if it's Liam Paro, be ordered to fight Arnold Barboza? One of these guys is the mandatory. You know, it's kind of it's a confusing situation right there. But I definitely want to see, you know, well, here's the thing. Let me slow down. I think that there's a high probability that if Teofimo Lopez wins against Pedro Campa, that we're going to see Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. I think that's going to happen. And then the winner of that maybe fights Jose Ramirez, Jose Zepeda winner, who was ordered to fight that WBC title. Then you got Liam Paro. Put it this way, we're going to find out a lot about about Teofimo Lopez at 135 pounds. And then remember, the guys at 135 are going to be eventually coming up to 140 pounds. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to look, because now, you know, it's a pretty deep end. No, wait, correction. Isn't it going to be Zepeda versus Regis Prograis for the title now, right? Not Ramirez. I believe I saw some news like that. And then you're going to have Josh Taylor, who's going to be taking on Jack Catterall in the rematch. You got Alberto Puello, who's going to be taking on Bakhtir Akhmedov for the vacant WBA title on the undercard of Broner versus Omar Figueroa next week, August the 20th. We're waiting to see what they're going to do with Sabril Matias and Jeremiah Ponce for the next IBF mandatory, I'm thinking. It's a stacked division. But for me, if I'm a betting man, I believe we're going to see Teofimo, you know, beat Campa. Then we're going to see Teofimo versus Arnold Barboza. The winner of that is probably going to go the WBC route and fight whoever has that championship between Zepeda and Regis Prograis. Or just wait to be mandatory for the WBO, but you got Liam Paro right there from Australia. I don't know. It's a lot of interesting storylines there. It's a lot of interesting storylines at 140 pounds. But listen, guys, I'm going to get up out of here. I started a $2,500 calorie a day diet, and I'm doing 15,000 steps a day, which is about 6 miles a day of like walking, jogging, running and running. And basically I've been feeling it, and also I'm on, I got my other stuff all upstairs, but I'm on snack. I'm on the snack program. And let me tell you, this shit gives you a fucking boost. Let me tell you, I take it, and then, okay, this morning, I usually have my workouts done before noon, so I take it at like 45 minutes before I go out. I do my stretches, and man, once you hit that gym, you be going hard, like hard. So I'm already down 5 pounds since just, 5 pounds since just a few days ago, mostly water weight and shit like that, But y'all don't want to hear about that. And plus, I'm not sponsored. So if they want me to once I finish my weight loss journey, they're going to have to give me some free shit. So I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to be back tomorrow. And I'm guessing we're going to be getting the Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. press conference soon. But let me edit this video up. I'm going to get up out of here. My podcast is going to be coming out this weekend. Very excited. I talked about it earlier in this stream and in this video, but I got to get my dog out, go take a nap. I'm exhausted. Thanks for watching, guys. Please take your time out, like the video, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at @TStreetControversy. The links to my social media are right down below in the description box. Also, download the WBC app powered by the Vive Network for Roku, Android, Apple. Links also for that down below in the description box. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Please subscribe. Oh, and hey, not doing this for my health. It'd be great if you can drop a like before you go. It's almost like closing the door on your way out. All right? Thanks for watching.